Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here again, digging through those dense reports and papers, really trying to pull out the key insights so you can stay ahead.
Yeah, we boil down the strategy, find those surprising data points, and focus on the ideas that are genuinely shaking things up in commerce and culture. And today, we've got a really interesting intersection. High speed, high stakes.
Definitely. And before we jump into this stack, we've got a founder's guide here, reports from McKinsey, HBR, Business of Fashion, quite a mix. We want to mention this deep dive is brought to you by AI Opportune.
Right. And if you're out there building new tech, or maybe you're a brand leader just trying to figure out this massive shift in technology, you really need a guide. AI Opportune is, well, essential. It gives you weekly insights into how the most innovative people and companies are actually using AI, shaping the future with it.
So yeah, if you want that edge, you should subscribe to AI Opportune, get those weekly insights, follow them on social media. They're really good at cutting through the noise, finding the important signals.
Okay, so let's get into it. Style, speed, and a huge amount of opportunity. We're diving deep into how fashion and technology are merging, like really merging.
Our goal today is pretty specific. We want to unpack how artificial intelligence is changing fashion right now in 2026. How it's designed, how it's marketed, how you experience it. This isn't just theory, it's about what's happening operationally. We're aiming to give you a strategic framework.
And let's start with the scale, the money involved. Because this isn't just tweaking things. McKinsey is projecting that AI could add over, get this, $300 billion in profit to the global fashion market by 2030.
Wow, 300 billion.
Yeah. I mean, that number alone should really be directing investment decisions for the next few years, shouldn't it?
Absolutely. That's not just making things a bit better, that's creating completely new value. But okay, why fashion specifically? What makes this industry, such fertile ground for AI compared to other retail areas?
Well, it's almost a perfect storm, really. At how the industry works at its core. Fashion basically runs on two things: incredible speed and visual storytelling. You've got trend cycles that just keep getting faster.
Right, faster and faster.
Exactly. Then there are these super complex global supply chains. And success, it's all about personalization now, hyper-personalization. These are fundamentally data problems, pattern recognition problems, things AI is just really, really good at solving.
Okay, I get the prediction part immediately, but what are the sort of structural things that make it such a good match?
Well, look inside the companies, the workflows. Those rapid trend cycles need real-time prediction. You can't wait 6 months for a market research report anymore. It's too late.
Too slow.
Way too slow. And the whole creative process is visual, right? So that lines up perfectly with computer vision, with generative AI models, and personalization, which everyone wants. That thrives on AI spotting patterns and buying habits, online sentiment, all that data.
What's interesting, based on the sources, is how AI kind of levels the playing field. It acts as an equalizer. Before, it felt like only the big luxury houses with huge data setups could really do sophisticated modeling.
That's a really key insight. For a startup, or even just a small, nimble team, AI just removes these massive cost barriers. A big legacy brand might have 10 years of data, sure, but it's often stuck in silos, slow to access.
Right.
Whereas a startup can plug into the latest generative models, use real-time stuff like social media trends, visual analysis, and predict demand almost instantly, with surprising accuracy.
So they don't need decades of their own data locked away. They just need the right tools and access to current information flows.
Exactly. And this means design cycles shrink dramatically. What used to take months, sketching, sampling, setting up manufacturing, can now happen in days. Small teams can test hundreds of ideas super fast. They can offer what the reports call luxury-level personalization without needing a giant enterprise budget. Being responsive isn't a luxury anymore. It's essential just to stay relevant each season.
That speed, that shorter timeline, that's the real advantage. Okay, so if we look at where AI is actually making contact, with the customer and the product itself, it seems to break down into three main areas, three pillars of innovation.
Yeah, let's start right at the front, the customer experience. Pillar 1, smarter product discovery and conversational search. This is arguably where we're seeing the biggest impact right now.
The Business of Fashion actually called intelligent product discovery the highest impact retail innovation of 2026. And the big change, like you said, is moving beyond just basic keywords.
Absolutely. The system stops being like a simple search bar and starts acting more like a really good personal shopper. AI search understands what the customer means, the feeling they're going for, the context, like the event they're shopping for. It can handle complex prompts, mixing natural language and even images.
Can you give an example, like a really complex conversational kind of prompt?
Sure. So instead of just typing, say, black jeans, you might say something like, show me outfits for a casual brunch, somewhere like San Francisco in October, that use tweed texture and have a bit of a 1970s street style vibe.
Wow, okay.
The AI has to pull apart the mood, the weather context, the historical style reference, the function, all at once. And a crucial part of this now often includes AI try-ons, visualizations.
And the practical payoff for those visualizations is huge,
Yeah.
right? Tackling the massive problem of returns in retail.
Exactly. When you can see how something fits, how it hangs, how it moves on you, even virtually, it takes away so much guesswork. The reports are showing these AI try-on tools are cutting return rates by up to 40%.
40%.
Yeah, that's a huge saving. Think about the logistics cost, the packaging waste, the lost sales margin on returned items. It's massive.
Okay, that financial impact leads nicely into Pillar 2, which is more about the creative process itself, AI in design and creative workflows. This is where the machine starts acting less like just a tool and maybe more like a co-designer.
That's the shift, yeah, a collaborator. Generative AI can generate hundreds of silhouette variations, or tweak fabric textures, or build mood boards in literally seconds. It takes over the more tedious, repetitive parts of iteration.
Which frees up the human designer.
Exactly. Frees them up to focus on the bigger picture. The creative storytelling, the brand narrative, and the final curation, making the important choices.
But here's the tension, right? If the machine can pump out 100 designs a minute, is there a risk we lose something? That sort of slow, reflective development, does just iterating faster sometimes replace deeper intuition?
That's the core challenge. But the best designers, according to the sources, aren't using AI to replace intuition. They're using it as, Norma Kamali called it, a collaborator and spark plug for inspiration. Their intuition is still the most valuable asset. They use AI for things like rapid prototyping or style blending, maybe taking a classic 1940s Dior silhouette and mixing it with the colors and fit from current Tokyo Street style photos, or optimizing color palettes based on real-time trend data. But the human still decides which ideas actually matter, which ones feel right.
So the human brings the taste, the judgment, the machine brings the volume, the options. That balance seems critical.
Absolutely critical. And that leads us straight into Pillar 3, which tackles probably fashion's biggest historical problem: waste. This is predictive analytics for demand and sustainability.
Yeah, fashion's always been kind of notorious for guesswork, hasn't it? Leading to mountains of unsold clothes.
It has. And AI-driven forecasting is really the answer here. By predicting demand much more accurately down to specific regions or even stores, brands can drastically cut down on overproduction.
Which means
Fewer items needing heavy discounts, lower warehousing costs, and maybe most importantly, far fewer unsold garments ending up in landfills or being incinerated.
the sustainability angle here is really powerful because it's directly tied to just being more efficient as a business.
That's the key link. Predictive analytics makes efficiency and sustainability achievable together right from the start, especially for those smaller, leaner startups. It lets them cut emissions not just by optimizing shipping routes, but by fundamentally avoiding the energy and resources used to make clothes nobody was ever going to buy in the first place.
Okay, so we've established AI is incredibly productive, generates tons of options, but this brings us back to that kind of philosophical question, the designer's dilemma. If AI can create almost infinitely, what makes human creativity special anymore?
It's a great question. When the tech can produce endless output, the scarce resource isn't ideas anymore, it's taste, it's judgment. Human originality, the ability to weave a narrative, that becomes the real differentiator, the thing the machine can't replicate. If the AI handles the speed, the human has to handle the meaning.
So creative leaders and their teams need to adapt fast. What skills become essential for a designer working today?
Well, first, they absolutely have to see AI as a powerful brainstorming partner, but their own taste, their aesthetic judgment, has to be the final filter. Always. Second, they need to get really good at prompt engineering.
Prompt engineering.
Yeah, knowing exactly how to ask the AI, how to guide it, to get the specific kinds of results they want. It's like learning a new design tool, but a conversational one. And third, they have to double down on the human stuff. Emotional connection, storytelling, cultural relevance.
I like that framing. Someone used treating AI like a prolific intern. Super fast, generates tons of stuff, but maybe doesn't have the best judgment yet.
It's a perfect analogy. AI multiplies creative possibilities massively, but it can't give a collection that sense of cultural empathy or real depth or connect it to a brand's soul. That layer is purely human. taste, meaning brand essence. That's the human's job.
So for the founders, the product people listening, this needs a practical approach. Let's quickly run through the 4 key steps for implementation that came up in the sources.
Okay, step 1, identify your friction points. Where do customers get stuck or drop off? Is it finding products, figuring out the right size, the checkout? Map those pain points, and then test AI solutions specifically aimed at smoothing them out. Build trust by solving real problems.
Right. Step 2 is about managing that human-machine creative partnership you mentioned.
Exactly. Use AI for iteration, not replacement. Let the AI generate 50 color options or 10 sleeve variations, sure. But the final call, the direction, that has to come from your brand's established taste and vision. AI explores, the human directs.
Makes sense. And step 3 gets into how these systems actually improve.
Build feedback loops right from the start and make them rigorous. AI learns from results. You have to track what people click on, what gets returned, what they say in reviews, and feed all that back into the system to train it. You're essentially teaching the AI what good means for your specific brand.
Okay, and the final step is about not losing sight of the bigger picture amidst all the tech.
Step 4, balance speed with storytelling. Automation is great for efficiency, it's necessary, but it's humans who build the connection, the meaning, the why. So the mantra across the company has to be clear. AI for efficiency, humans for empathy.
That makes a lot of sense. But all this speed, this reliance on data, it definitely brings risks too. Things that need careful management. Let's touch on ethics and compliance first, especially around data privacy for personalization.
Yeah, that's a tightrope. Personalization needs customer data, obviously, but the sources are clear. Misusing it or even just not being clear about how you use it leads to big trouble. Heavy fines are already happening for retailers who aren't transparent about consent or how their AI models work.
So, okay, collect less data where possible, but what else? What are the best practices right now, particularly for transparency around the AI itself?
Founders need super clear consent policies, obviously. But crucially, they need to embrace what's called explainable AI or XAI. Explainable AI. It means the system should be able to explain why it made a certain recommendation. So instead of just seeing a suggestion, the customer might get a little note saying, "We picked this blouse because you previously bought similar fabrics and it fits the weather forecast for your city next week." That kind of transparency builds huge trust.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And speaking of transparency, there's the environmental cost too. Generative AI uses a lot of computing power, which means energy.
That's definitely a challenge, yeah. But sustainable practices are starting to catch up here too. Vogue Business reported that some leading fashion brands are actually starting to track and report their AI carbon intensity scores, treating it like any other part of their environmental footprint.
Okay, so what's the playbook for making AI more sustainable?
Well, things like choosing cloud providers that run on renewable energy. Optimizing when you do the really heavy computing, like training big models.
Yeah.
Maybe scheduling those tasks for times when the grid is using more low-carbon power sources. The idea of conscious AI that's both ethical and environmentally mindful, that really resonates with modern consumers, it builds credibility.
We also can't skip the intellectual property issue. When the AI is your prolific intern, who actually owns the final design?
Oh, that's a legal minefield right now, seriously.
Yeah.
Founders have to get really clear on defining IP ownership in their AI workflows from the start. They need to be able to credit the data sources used for training, document the creative inputs, and show clearly where human judgment shaped the final product versus the machine's output. Understanding the legal side is becoming a core business skill here. Proving human taste with the deciding factor is key.
Okay, that's a lot to navigate on the risk side. Let's shift gears and look ahead. Beyond better design tools and smarter search, what's the next big disruption coming in how we actually shop for fashion?
Harvard Business Review is talking about the next phase as agentic commerce. This means moving towards highly sophisticated AI shopping agents that kind of take over the shopping process proactively for you.
So wait, not just recommending things, but like an autonomous AI stylist that lives in your phone or computer.
Pretty much, yeah. Imagine an agent that maybe notices your running shoes are getting worn out, maybe from visual data or tracking your runs, and it proactively orders you a new pair. Optimized for your foot type, your current mileage, maybe even coordinating with your race schedule before you even realize you need them.
Oh.
These agents would deeply understand your taste, your budget, your body type, your upcoming events from your calendar.
That requires a massive shift for brands, doesn't it? They can't just push products anymore if an AI agent is the gatekeeper.
Exactly. They have to shift from selling things to sensing needs. The future likely belongs to brands that can effectively train AI agents to understand their brand's core style, their essence. So when your personal AI agent is looking for something, the brand's agent can intelligently communicate why their product is the right fit. It becomes less about shouting ads and more about an intuitive partnership.
Wow. Okay, this has been a really fascinating look at how deep these changes run. The future of fashion clearly isn't just about the clothes, but the entire ecosystem around how they're conceived, made, and discovered. Let's try and boil down the key takeaways for everyone listening.
Right. So first, remember, AI is a tool to fix real customer problems. Don't just chase the tech. Start with the friction points. Where can you make the experience better? Second, use AI to boost creativity and efficiency, that prolific intern idea, but always let human taste and empathy guide the final decisions.
And third,
Third, build everything with ethics, transparency, that XAI idea, and sustainability baked in from the start. These aren't optional add-ons anymore. They're fundamental to building trust and long-term value.
and I think maybe the most powerful final thought from all this is that AI isn't actually making fashion less human. By handling the complexity, the data analysis, the prediction, it's potentially freeing up humans to make fashion more personal, more adaptive, and maybe even more imaginative.
Yeah, I agree. The real opportunity, that $300 billion opportunity, lies in blending that technical precision and efficiency with genuine creative empathy and storytelling. Getting that balance right, that's the winning strategy for this next chapter in retail.
And if you want to stay on top of this curve, understand what the leading innovators and brands are doing next with AI, definitely subscribe to AI Opportune. They deliver those crucial weekly insights about the future of AI and branding.
Thanks everyone for joining us for the deep dive. We'll catch you next time.